Hello, good morning, dear students. So, today we are starting with the second part of the third chapter, that is Ishwaran, the story teller. Let us just start with the chapter. His own descriptions were greatly influenced by the Tamil authors, and he read. When he was narrating even the smallest of incidents, he would try to work in suspense and surprise ending into an account. For example, instead of saying that he had come across an uprooted tree on the highway, he would say with eyebrows suitably arched and hands held out in a dramatic gesture, the road was deserted and I was all alone. Suddenly, I spotted something that looked like an enormous bushy beast lying sprawled across the road. I was half inclined to turn and go back, but as I came closer, I saw that it was a fallen tree. With its dry branches spread out, Mahendra would stretch himself back in his canvas chair and listen to the Ishwaran's tale uncritically. So Mahendra, Ishwaran was having the habit कि he would tell the stories in such a way that as if he is something and जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि हिंदी में या गुजराती में कि उसको शो ऑफ करने का थोड़ा कुछ और ही मतलब वो बहुत ज़्यादा शो ऑफ करता है इन नॉट प्रॉपरली द शो ऑफ बट इन दैट सेंस कि ही विल टेल द स्टोरी टू समवन बट वो क्या करेगा अगर स्टोरी बोलता है किसी को तो व्हाट ही विल डू वो स्टोरी तो बोल देगा बट ही विल से द स्टोरी कि जब जहाँ तक स्टोरी का एंड आता है तब वो क्या करेगा ही विल टर्न द टॉपिक एंड ही विल से कि जो स्टोरी का सस्पेंस जो एंडिंग पोर्शन है ही विल टेल दैट आफ्टरवर्ड्स और महेंद्र जो था उसको भी ये सब कुछ अच्छा लगता था बिकॉज ईश्वरन वॉज अ वेरी काइंड हार्टेड एंड एन ऑनेस्ट पर्सन जिसके ऊपर महेंद्र आंखें बंद करके भी ट्रस्ट कर सकता था. The place I came from is famous for umber, Ishwaran would begin. That is a richly wooded forest all around. The logs are hauled on the tones by the elephants. They are huge, well-fed beasts. When they turn wide, even the most experienced mahout is not able to control them. After this prologue, Ishwaran would launch into an elaborate anecdote involving an elephant. One day a tucker escaped from the umber yard and began to roam about, stamping on the bushes, tearing up wild creepers and breaking branches at will. You know, sir, how an elephant behaves when it gets mad. Ishwaran would get so caught up by in an excitement of his own story that he would get up from the floor and jump about, stamping his feet in emulation of the mad elephant. The elephant reached the outskirts of our town, breaking the fences, down the matchsticks. He would continue. It came into the main road and smashed all the stalls selling fruits, mud pots, and clothes. People ran, shelters scattered, and panic. This elephant now entered into a school ground where the children were playing. Breaking through the back wall, all the boys ran into the classrooms and shut the doors tight. The beast grunted and wandered about, pulling all out the football goal post, tearing down the volleyball net, kicking it, and flattering the drum capped of hot water uprooting the shrubs. So he would explain that what was the incident, what had happened over there, and so he is sharing his experience over there that there is a place called Umbar and Ishwaran loves that place and when he used to talk about that place he would be highly excited and even he would stand up from the floor and he would say all the thing in an excitement. So he is saying that once, if an elephant goes mad, it is very much difficult for the Mahout, that is the owner of the elephant, to control the anger of that elephant. So he is saying that once in an Umbar as well, an elephant got mad, and what he did, he just ran out of the cage, and he was moving in the streets of Umbar, and he just destroyed all the streets, small stalls, everything, and he entered into the school, and when he entered into the school everyone was in panic. Even when he used to move on the roads as well, the stalls were broken by the elephant. At that time the people were totally in panic. Meanwhile, all the teachers had climbed up to the terrace for the school wedding, from where they could helplessly watch the depredations of the elephant. And during that period when the elephant has entered into the school, all the teachers and the children went on the terrace of the school, especially the teachers went on the terrace of the school and they observed it. There was not a soul below on the ground. The streets were empty, as if the inhabitants of the entire town had suddenly disappeared. Even the elephant, when this elephant got mad, the whole street was totally empty, like all the inhabitants, when all the animals of the town had been suddenly disappeared. I was studying in the junior class at that time and was watching the whole drama from the rooftop. So Ishwaran was studying in the junior class during that time and he was watching the whole drama from the top, and I didn't know what came over me. Suddenly I grabbed the cane from the hand of one of the teachers and ran down the stairs into the open. And suddenly he something struck into the mind of Ishwaran and he just went down. The elephant grunted and menacingly swung a branch of a tree which it held in its trunk. It stamped its feet, kicking up a lot of mud and dust. It looked frightening, but I moved slowly towards it. Stick in hand, the people were watching the scene, hypnotized from the nearby housetops. The elephant looked at me red eyed, ready to rush towards me. It was It lifted its trunk and trumpeted loudly. At that moment, I moved forward and mustered all my force. So, what he did, he just ran down the stairs and he ran down the stairs and took जैसे कुछ बहुत बड़ी लकड़ी होती है ना, that type of wood from the hand of the teacher, and he ran down menacingly. And when he just ran down with a branch of a tree on his hand, the elephant was looking in anger, means red eyed it into the Ishvara. It started tonal on the quick. The beast looked stunned for a moment, and then it shivered from the head to foot and collapsed. At this point, Ishwaran would leave the story and unfinished, and get up mumbling, I will be back after lighting the gas and warming up the dinner. Mahendra would have been listening with rapt attention, would be left hanging. So Mahendra jo tha, he would just listen to the stories of the Ishwaran very carefully, that how the ending would be, what would be the ending, because जैसे वो इतनी बहादुरी की बातें करता था कि जो पूरा एलिफेंट, the elephant which was totally mad had entered into the school building and he has shown his bravery to everyone. And what did he do कि एलिफेंट जो था वो कंट्रोल में आ गया, उसके लिए उसने क्या किया? When he used to come to that point, especially the ending part or the suspense of the story, at that time ईश्वरान would say, अब ये जो स्टोरी है आगे की, that I will tell you afterwards, मुझे अभी खाना बनाना है. And बेचारा महेंद्र, he would sit waiting for the story to continue. Ishwaran would not pick up the thread of the story right away. Mahendra would have to remind him that the conclusion was pending. And Ishwaran जो था वो भूल जाता था. He would not could start with the same story. So Mahendra would remind him that how where we had stopped. Mahendra would have to remind him that the conclusion was pending. While the veterinary doctor was summoned to revive the animal, Ishwaran would struck casually. 2 days later, it was led away by its mahout into the jungle. Well, how did you manage to do, Ishwaran? Ishwaran, how did you bring clown the beast? It has something to do with Japanese art. So, महेंद्र सॉरी ईश्वरन ने क्या किया, वन महेंद्र रिमाइंडेड हिम कि हमारी स्टोरी जो थी वो यहाँ पर ख़त्म हुई थी. तो ईश्वरन क्या बोलता था कि हाँ, उसके बाद तो 2 दिन के बाद वेटरनरी डॉक्टर को बुलाया एंड ही वॉज जस्ट सेंट टू द जंगल बाय हिज महाउट. बट एक्चुअल स्टोरी जो थी वो क्या थी कि ईश्वरान जो है उसने वो एलिफेंट के एंगर को कैसे कंट्रोल किया. सो ही इज सेइंग दैट इट इज़ अ जापानीज आर्ट. I think, sir, karate Olympus it is called, and I had read about it somewhere that it temporarily paralyzes the nervous system. You see, not a day passed without Ishwaran recounting some story packed with adventure, horror, or सस्पेंस। सो उसने क्या सस्पेंस दिखाया कि अगर एलिफेंट जो है उसके पैरों के जो नाखून होता है, स्पेशली द फ्रॉम द बैक लेग्स, उसके पैरों के जो नाखून होते हैं वहाँ पे अगर आप लोग बड़ी ट्री की ब्रांच, मतलब जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं कि जो ट्री का थर्ड होता है ना, अगर उससे उसको मारोगे तो इट वुड पैरालाइज द नर्व्स ऑफ द एलिफेंट. सो ही इज सेइंग दैट इट इज अ जापानीज art. Whether the story was credible or not, Mahendra enjoyed listening to it because of its inimitable way in which he was told. Ishwaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV in Mahendra's living quarters. One morning, when Mahendra was having the breakfast, Ishwaran asked, "Can I ask something special for the dinner tonight, sir? After today is an auspicious day. According to the tradition, we prepare delicacies to feed the spirits of our ancestors today, sir." That night, Mahendra enjoyed the most delicious dinner and complimented Ishwaran on his culinary skill. He seemed very pleased but unexpectedly launched into a most garish account invoking the supernatural. You know, so this entire factory area we are occupying was once a burial ground, he started. Mahendra was choked out of a pleasant river and he drifted into after the satisfying meal. I knew on the very first day itself, when I saw a human skull dying on the path, even though now come across a number of skulls and bones, Ishwaran continued. So he is saying that today is an auspicious day and we are supposed to prepare a number of delicious dishes, and on that day he gave a nice dinner to Ishwaran, and he is saying that it is an auspicious day for everyone. And he went to narrate the someone he sometimes say, "So ghost at night. I am not easily frightened by these things, sir. I am brave, but one horrible ghost of a woman which appears off on a midnight during the full moon. It is an ugly creature with matted hair and a shriveled face, like a skeleton holding in the rollies in its arms." Mahendra shivered at the description of the interrupted radiotherapy. "Are you crazy, Ishwaran?" So he just narrated the story that I am not at all afraid of the ghost, but especially I am afraid of only one thing, that especially on the full moon day, a woman appears on the midnight of a full moon day and she is having an ugly creature and she is having a skeleton holding in his arms. So Mahendra was also shivered by the listening this, that especially is something anything like that happening over here. So he is saying to Ishwaran that, "Are you crazy? No, there is no such things of spooks or spirits. It is all of a figment of our imagination. Get your legislative system examined and maybe you have heard as well." "You are talking nonsense." Lai left the room and retired for the night, expecting Ishwaran to scull on the couple of days. But the next morning he was surprised to find the cook as cheerful and talkative as ever. From the day on, Mahendra, for all his brave talk, went lobed with a certain uneasy. Every night he peered into the darkness. So he is saying that when Ishwaran said to him about all these things, he was saying to Ishwaran that, "Are you crazy?" And he scolded to Ishwaran little bit that, "No, ये सब कुछ तो झूठ होता है, ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है." एंड वो लोग सो जाते हैं एंड ऑन द नेक्स्ट डे ही जस्ट फाउंड ईश्वरान एज अ इज, मीन्स जो पहले जैसा ईश्वरान था वैसे ही. That there was no moment of dark space on the victim, but he could only see a sea of darkness within the twinkling lights of the factory miles away. He had always liked to admire the milk white landscape on a full moon night, but after hearing the Swami's story of a female ghost, he avoided looking out of his window altogether when especially it was a full moon day. One night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan close to his window. At first, he put it down to a cat prowling around for a mice, but the sound was too guttural for a cat. He resisted the curiosity to look out lest he should behold a sight which would stop his heart, but the wailing because louder and less feel. He could not resist the temptation anymore. Lowering himself to the level of windows, he looked out the white sheet of moonlight outside. There was not too far away was dark, cloudy morning. Clutching a bundle, Mahendra broke into a cold sweat and fell back on the pillow, panting as he gradually recovered from the ghostly experience. He began to reason with himself and finally concluded that must have been some sort of auto suggestion, some trick that is subconscious had played on him. By the time he had got up in the morning, he had a bath, came out for his breakfast. The horror of the previous night had faded from his memory. Ishwaran greeted him at the door with his lunch packet and his bag. Just as Mahendra was stepping out, Ishwaran grinned and said, "Still remember the other day when I was telling you about the female ghost with photos in his arm? You were so angry with me for imagining things. Well, you saw her yourself last night. I came running, hearing." So it's a story about that when Ishwaran told to Mahendra about the ghost on the full moon day, what Mahendra did on the next full moon day, he did not he did not look out from his window. But when he went to the slab at midnight, he just heard some noise. He thought that it was a noise of a rat, but it was not a noise of a rat or a mice. But when he saw that, he was totally frightened and he just went back to his bed. So next morning he wake up, and when he woke up in the next morning, he just went to the for the breakfast. He had done his breakfast and everything was done as usual, and the memory of the last night was already faded from his mind. But when he was leaving for the office, Ishwaran told that last month when I told you about the woman ghost, you did not trust on me. But I saw that yesterday you saw herself from your eyes to her. Thank you.